guys? Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's recap and review Love After Lockup. This is season 5, episode 31. I genuinely do not understand how Love After Lockup, Love During Lockup, like I don't who is over there making like the season like scheme or whatever you call it, because I checked the episode guide and I was like, isn't this supposed to be like a brand new season? And what's really trippy to me is like I was like, on some of the fan pages of people who love this show, like are diehard fans of the show, and some people were like, technically this is season 9, and I'm like, so why don't they just call it season 9? Why is it a continue? Because this show has been on for years. Like I was heavy into Love After Lockup when it was Megan, Michael, and Sarah. Like they had me in their clutches. Okay, I faithfully watched Love After Lockup. R.I.P. to Tracy. Okay, R.I.P. to Tracy. Like. And then I kind of tapped in when it was like the season that had no, I think Brittany and Marcelino were on the same season with Megan, Michael, and Sarah. But I remember their story. I remember Lacey and Shane, and I think his name was John, that throuple. And I remember Quaylon and Chevelle, and I've been hearing things about Quaylon and Chevelle. Okay, so I haven't been watching it consistently since I was deep in the Megan, Michael, and Sarah days. But I did watch Love During Lockup the season before this season, and I was interested because when I saw the trailer for Love After Lockup, I was like, this might be interesting. Like the new host of people we got look like they might be interesting. So let's talk about it. Let's get into it. Let's talk about episode 1, which it should be, but episode 31 if we're gonna be right. So the first couple I want to talk about is Zahira. I think I'm saying her name right. She's 32 years old and an executive director, and her husband Troy, who is 29 years old, and he has been incarcerated for the past 7 years for, I think it says, criminal possession of a weapon and attempted robbery. And I said, girl, red flag right there. And what's setting yourself up for failure is he's been incarcerated since he was 22 years old, and he's getting out at 29. I'm telling you, if I went to jail at 22 and got out at 29, I'm crash. Well, I don't know if I'm gonna crash out, but I'm wilding out. I'm wilding out. I got a lot of life to live, and I'm still in my prime. Oh yeah, girl, he about to run your pockets and run the streets, run them pockets and run the streets. So it opens up, and she's at her family's church. And she comes sitting in the bag, and I was like, is she a PK kid? And then they confirmed she's a PK kid. The father is leaving, like, it looks like the praise team rehearsal because only like 5 people. The mom is steady beating on the tambourine and stuff. And they confirmed that this is their church and they preside over this congregation. She has a son who's 11 years old, and we find out that like her family was very strict. Like she wasn't allowed to have a lot of friends. She wasn't allowed to hang out with her friends. So it pretty much pushed her when she got older to rebel and go be with the hood boys. And a hood boy loved to turn a good girl bad. So she had a good fun time. We find out that the way that she met Troy was the cellmate of her ex-husband. Now, I was a little confused because I didn't know if she met her ex-husband in prison, like, in prison the same way she met Troy, or did she meet him and then he got locked up. But either way, her husband got locked up. They ended up having the baby. She didn't put his name on the birth certificate because she was like, he wasn't being a father, but she put Troy's name, which is wild to me because I'm like, Troy has been locked up since that child has been 4 years old. What has he done to prove that he's a father to him? You don't even know if that little boy likes that man or if he's just being nice to you because you're his mom. Like, let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck. So, like I said, she met Troy while Troy was the cellmate of her ex-husband, and Troy pretty much told her, if you want to be with me, girl, you got to divorce him. So she got a divorce from her ex-husband. I said, I'm surprised they didn't fight and Troy didn't get shanked. You know what I'm saying? So she really is in love with Troy. She thinks he is everything. And so she's so excited for him to get out. The family is really pushing for Troy to like be a preacher in their church, which doesn't make sense to me because I'm like, if he doesn't want to do it, why are y'all trying to force him to do it? Because The dad walks by her and said, "Is Troy ready to get up there?" And she was like, "I don't know." And then the mom sits down and is like, "Is Troy ready? Because, we ready for him. The congregation is ready for him." And she tells her mom, she was like, "I don't think y'all realize that Troy not really too keen about doing this. And if he do get up there, he might show his what." Okay, so I don't know if that's something y'all want to do. Okay. And so the mom ends up saying that we just want Troy to have stability and understand that, like, if he's a part of this family, he's going to be a part of this church. And I'm just like, just because someone doesn't someone goes to church does not mean that breeds stability. Churches are toxic AF at times. Church culture can be detrimental to people. So thinking just because y'all have this church that is going to change him or make him do right is crazy. It really is, because look at your child. Your child has been raised in the church and she keep making stupid decisions because y'all didn't prepare her. Okay. Because Troy ends up calling and they ask him again and he gives that laugh like, "Yeah, okay." But we also hear Troy talk about, like, "I can't wait to get out. There's a few people that I gotta, make things right with, that I gotta talk to. Some of the women really like me. Some women really gravitate to me." And I said, because you're about to be, and that's what I'm looking at here. Like, he's 29, sis. He been in jail since 22. He's going to get out and again run them pockets and run them streets. And you about to be footing the bill. About to be footing the bill. So then the last thing we have with her parents is them in the vestibule view of this church, and the daddy basically saying Troy needs to come home and understand, like, what we expect of him, what we expect of you too, what we want from him. Like, he needs to come home and do right. And I'm looking at them as like, y'all have these huge expectations for Troy, who been locked up since he's 22. Where are y'all talking to your child? Because she's the one making these decisions and introducing these people into your life. Y'all should be talking to her and probably encouraging her to go to therapy, because this don't make no sense to me. None. So then the next thing we have is here is with her sister, and we find out that her little sister is staying with her, and the sister isn't really too happy about Troy coming to live with Zahira. And I said, "Girl, why are you there then?" Because she married him. Where'd you think he was gonna go? The Motel 6 down the street? Like, he's paroling to that house. Like, what did you expect? So the sister is just kind of like, "I don't know, girl. Like, you doing a lot for him." We find out that I think she said she's almost spent $50,000 on him. She pulling out all this jewelry and stuff. And then she got this wad of cash that she was like, "I got to make sure his pockets is always laced." And the little sister had a good point. She was like, "You're doing all of this for him. Like, he coming to a nice house, a fully stocked refrigerator, and you're about to put all this money in his pocket. Like, where is the incentive for him to do better? Or for him to actually get out there and do something?" And you could tell that, like, Zahira is the type of girl that like to live in delusions, because her face was really like, "I hear what you're saying." Like, she didn't want to hear her sister, but what her sister was saying right is right. Like, granted, when he gets out, he's not going to have a job, so she's definitely going to have to give him money. But like, sis, unless he comes out of prison with the mindset of like, "Okay, I need to be on the straight and narrow, I need to live my life the right way," like, he really doesn't have a reason to like really do right by you, because like, you're pretty much giving him everything. And then after the sister said that, Zahira's like, "Let me show you something, let me show you something." She shows this horrible tattoo with horrible line work, and it's big as hell on her like rib cage with Troy's name. And I said, "Why? Why? Girl, in order to you gonna need a really good person who knows how to do a cover up, because with the way that trailer was going, it looked like Troy gonna be out here cheating on you and making you look stupid. Because, girl, why would you do that? Why? Why? Why?" And the sister was just like, "Oh, so you for real, for real? Like, this serious?" And she said, "Yeah, this serious. Like, he my forever." And I said, "Okay, you think. You think." So then the last thing we have of Zahira is her going to the tarot lady. And so she sits down with the tarot lady, which I was just kind of like, "Girl, if you really need to like consort like outside of all the, the cards, then maybe we might not need to do this." Maybe we not. The ancestors is already telling you this ain't a good idea if you feel led to do this. So she sits down, and I think the first question was like, how is there anybody that still has feelings for Troy? And she pulls out these two cards. I don't remember the name of them, but pretty much the tarot lady is like, those two cards for me are like someone has strong feelings for a person. And we find out that Troy's baby mama still has feelings for him and is very disrespectful towards their marriage. Like, she don't really care about them being married. She pretty much is like, yeah, y'all married, but it ain't gonna last. And I was like, she probably right. And so she was just kind of like, she still has feelings for him, and she was like, they're very strong. And I was like, did you ask how Troy feels about her? Because I didn't see her or hear her ask that. She just heard, is there anybody that still has feelings for Troy? And it's the baby mama. And I'm like, girl, you need to see if Troy still like her, which he probably does, when he was like, women are attracted to me. Girl, he about to be in that baby mama house cheating and probably gonna get her pregnant. Okay. And so the last question she asked is like, is their relationship going to last? And the lady immediately pulls out a heartbreak card and was like, girl, this symbolizes heartbreak. And the way Zahira was like, I didn't want to hear that. And the lady was like, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, but that's what the ancestors are saying. And I said, girl, listen to him. And by the looks of the trailer, she was already yanking off the ring and telling him to get the F up out her house. So I said, he cheating. And we know anybody that goes to jail at 22 and gets out, if you ever get out of jail in your like 40s, 30s, and 20s, I know for a fact you're wilding out. Because that is where you feel like you are going to have the most fun. Like you still feel youthful. Heck, probably even getting out in your 50s or 60s, you're going to be feeling like it's time to go wow. But I know for a fact, if you get out of jail in your 20s, 30s, or 40s, you crashing out. And I don't understand how she didn't see that coming. But let's move on to our next couple. Next couple is going to be Joey and Kim. So Kim is 38 years old and she is a teacher's aide. Joey is 39 years old and he has been incarcerated for 6 years for breaking and entering, larceny, and identity theft. They are in Eden, North Carolina. I don't know if I said about Zahira and Troy, they in New York. But I was like, I've heard of Eden, North Carolina. And then when I Googled it, I said, girl, no wonder. No wonder. Because I've driven through there when I used to go home from school to Virginia, because I did college in North Carolina. And then when we found out that Joey got a drug problem, I said it makes sense, because when I tell you there is nothing in Eden, North Carolina, there is nothing there. So all you got is drugs and alcohol to keep your mind busy. So we find out that Kim and Joey went to high school together. So I think she's trying to live out some high school fantasy with him. I don't know why, but she's dropping off her kids at her dad's house. They're like 5 and 4 years old, I think, or maybe 5 and 3. She said that her dad really doesn't agree with her life choices, and you can tell he doesn't, but he loves his daughter. And I said, girl, please don't mess up your relationship with your father over this dude. Please. We find out that Kim don't know how to be alone. She jumping from man to man to man, because one of the examples she gave is that like she was married twice, that like she got married, was only married for 2 years. While she was divorcing that man, she got pregnant by the next husband and they got married soon after. So she don't know how to be alone, because ain't no way, girl. Ain't no way. We find out that Joey has a history of thievery. He liked to steal. They show his rap sheet and it's like larceny, getting property by false pretenses. Joey liked to steal. We find out that when Joey was out of jail the last time, that's when him and Kim linked up, and he was only out of jail for 100 days. Once he got locked back up, but she really liked him. They really fell for each other. And the last time she went and saw him, he proposed to her. So they're planning on getting married. The daddy don't like Joey, and for good reason, because the daddy feel like Joey stole, I think he said like his dirt bike or a 4-wheeler. And so they go into the garage and the daddy's like, my bike was in here. And I know Joey told his cousin because we wasn't here and it's gone. And I believe the daddy. I ain't even gonna lie, I believe the daddy. Because the daddy said, had I had proof, I would have pressed charges, but I ain't got no proof, but I know what I feel. And I said, I feel you, Dad. I feel you. her whole thing is like she don't believe Joey did it, mainly because he told her he didn't do it. I said, girl, that man was out of jail for 100 days and went to jail for larceny and thievery. He stole that bike. He knew I'm with the dad. He knew y'all wasn't there, and then the bike was gone. He stole that bike. I believe he stole that bike. I just believe that man stole that bike. So while the dad and her are talking, she get a phone call from Joey, and it's a FaceTime, and she's like sitting on the porch talking to him, talking about how excited she is to see him, and she's just kind of like, my dad and you got to have a talk, because the daddy was like, oh, I'm gonna talk to him, because we need to talk. We need to talk because the daddy is real adamant that boy stole my bike. And so she's just so ready for him to come out so she can be a family with him. So we then go to this other scene where it's her friend Jennifer, and she's at the house with her 2 kids, watching her kids. And Jennifer and Joey were friends. And Jennifer is just kind of worried for Kim because she's like, girl, I don't know. Like, she really like, girl, I don't know. Because we find out that Kim bought Joey a car. And they asked, like, girl, and Jennifer's like, well, how much money did you spend on him? Like, how much money have you spent on him? And she was like, I think she said like 13,000. And I said, on the teacher's aides, that might be your whole entire, that's a year's worth of salary. We know they don't be paying teachers. Why are you giving him that money, ma'am? And you got 2 babies. I hope you getting child support from the other daddies. But Jennifer knows about Joey's drug past, so she's just kind of like, you really doing all of this for him? Because we also find out that she bought him a car, and Jennifer was like, I don't think you should have did that because he hasn't even proven to you he gonna stay clean. And I said, Jennifer is being the voice of reason, because if he hasn't proved to you he hasn't clean, then girl, what? And then we find out more about the relationships that Kim was in, that her last relationship ended because the guy was an alcoholic. So I said, you went from one addict to another addict. Because girl, addiction, you need to sit down on somebody's couch and figure that out. Because that don't make any sense. We then have this scene of her with her kids, and it's like nighttime. And she's getting them ready for bed, and Joey ends up calling. And I think one of the boys was like, I can't wait until daddy comes home. And she's so excited because she's just like, it's like he's the right person for me. Like the last person I was with, who I thought was supposed to be my forever, I'm just mad that I wasted time with that person because I should have been with him. And I was like, I hate when these women do this. Y'all get these kids so excited and so invested in these people who have not even proven to you that they are worthy of this type of loyalty and type of like value, that you set your kids up for failure, and it's only your fault, because when they get disappointed, they're disappointed is tenfold because you put these expectations, like you had them put these expectations on somebody that they didn't know. You have them having these feelings and making this fantasy world in their mind that this person is going to be the one to like save them and really create this family unit for them. And you don't even know if this person can do that. You are literally inviting a thieving drug addict into your house, and you don't even know if he is going to be clean or has gotten rid of the spirit of stealing. Girl, what? Okay. But then we find out that it's because it's the next day. We meet Tammy, who is Joey's mom. Tammy and Kim have really bonded, and Tammy loves Kim's kids like they're her grandkids. So they're going to be watching her kids while she goes to see Joey. I don't know if she's picking him up, but I think she is going to visit him one more time before he gets out. So the last scene we get of the episode is focused around Kim and Joey, and I think she's actually going to go pick up Joey or go see Joey. But pretty much, Joey was like, look, I got to ask you a question. And she's like, oh, okay, babe, like, what's up? He was like, some girl named Ashley messaged me. I don't know who she is, but she said that you are messing around with her husband. That she said your future wife is effing my husband. And she said the other week you was hugged up with some light-skinned man at the bar. So let's just be honest. Are you effing around on me? Are you messing with somebody else? And Kim's face is just like, Now, I think Kim is going to say no in the next episode, but I'm going to be honest, y'all, with the way Kim was saying how she jumped from man to man and she ain't never really been by herself, I could see her doing this. And I wouldn't fault her. He been locked up for 6 years. Girl, I got to get mine like you probably getting yours in there. But I said, Kim, you cheating on Joey. And maybe she is. Who knows? Who knows? But let's move on to our next couple. The next couple we're going to talk about is Leticia and Keith. Leticia's 37, an accountant, and Keith is 36. He's been in prison for 10 years for drug distribution. Now, I remember her on Love during Lockup. I don't know if she was on the last season, but I feel like she was on the season before, and I didn't think she was coming back. But it looks like Keith is about to get out of jail here soon. And so we see her, she's taking her kids to the to school. She has like an older daughter who I think is like 16 or 15, and the little girl, she looks like maybe like 7 or 8 years old. And we find out that her and Keith have been married since 2022, so for 4 years. And the way that they got together was that one of her friends was already talking to somebody on in jail. She was like, oh, you can give my photo to somebody in there. And then they gave it to Keith, and Keith reached out, thought she was a baddie, and that's how they got together. She just wants to jump Keith's bones. Like, she ready to get dicked all the way down. Okay, she ready for it. And looking at Keith, I understand. But in my mind, I said, girl, he about to wild out on you. Keith gonna be like Troy, running them streets and running your pockets. Keith been in jail since he was 26 years old. He is now 36. And he looked that good with the locks, with the tattoos, beefed up, hulked up. He running them streets. Be prepared. Be prepared. Because he coming. He coming, girl. He coming in. And so the reason why Leticia got on my nerves last season, because I was like, I remember I didn't really like her, is because I felt like she got her kids too involved, which she did. And I also didn't understand why she was trying to make Keith be a part of her business, like be a second boss to her employees. And I was like, why are you letting an incarcerated man like run your business? And when she went and spoke to the accountant was like, girl, I wouldn't do that. I would advise against it. And he got mad. And when I was like, the fact that he got mad makes me feel like he has ulterior motives, because anybody with logic would understand that you're doing people's taxes and you're looking at their bank accounts, and you've been in jail for 10 years for drug possession, sis. Like, it's been for distribution of drugs. I don't think anybody wants that type of person around their money. And the fact that like Leticia didn't get that, I was like, girl, are y'all trying to run a dual scam on people? Like, why are you not thinking? Why are we not thinking, sis? Why are we not thinking? So while she's at work, she get a phone call that he's about to get out here soon, sooner than what she thought, because I guess there's a law in Chicago that if you serve your minimum, then you can get out. So he basically already served his minimum, so they're like expediting his chances to get out. So she's super excited, running through her office, and this is the other reason why I think that business she has is a scam, because this office is makeshift. Even the office that she ran into with her other coworker, I was like, nothing's on the wall. Even in her office, everything's all up on the counters. I was like, I don't even know if this Mac is plugged in. It's giving this is not a real office. Like this is some place where y'all be washing people's money. That's what it's giving, girl. That's what it's giving. So she tells them about him about to get out, and they're all like, oh my gosh, like congratulating her and happy for her. But then they're like, what about your daughters? Like, are they ready for it? And she's like, the youngest one, she's excited. They have a really good relationship. She talks to him whenever I talk to him. But the oldest, not so much. She is not featuring him. And it makes sense. She's older. She understands like the situation that her mom is in to a certain extent. And so her coworker was right. She was like, I hope they can adjust, because they're going to have to adjust to like him being out and being in the family versus him being locked up and being a part of this family. So she gets home, and we end up seeing Keith's aunt, and we find out that Keith and his aunt are really close, and Leticia wanted to get close to her because of the close relationship that Keith and his aunt have. So she sits down with the aunt and tells the aunt, like, I just got a call. He might be coming out sooner than later. And the aunt was like, oh my God, that's great. That's great. She even asked, she was like, do you think the girls are ready for it? And she was like, I think so. So then we see Leticia sit down her two daughters to have the conversation, and the oldest one is not featuring it. She leaned up on that couch like, he coming back soon. She was like, I thought we have time. And even when she was talking, giving her confessional, you could tell that she's uncomfortable. Her voice was shaky. She was real fidgety. She wasn't even looking like directly into the camera. She is just very uncomfortable with this situation. And it seems like her mom really just doesn't care. Because now she's talking about, me and Keith want to have a whole bunch of kids. And I'm just like, Why not let him get to know your kids and solidify your family unit before you decide to put a baby in this? Because she was telling the girls, like, I'm gonna get pregnant the first night. That's not cute. It's not cute, okay? So they're sitting down, and then, like, as she's like I said, the oldest is not featuring it. All of a sudden, the little girl just starts spontaneously crying. And she's like, what's wrong? She was like, nothing. And then she was like, I'm just ready for my daddy to come. And I'm like, that pissed me off because you got this girl way too invested in this man that you don't even know like that. You only know him as incarcerated. And she is like, already has this picture in her mind that they're just going to have this perfect relationship. And what happens when it doesn't work out? Then she's going to be let down twice because Leticia's in her confessional talking about, she deserves a daddy. She deserves to be a daddy's girl. And I'm just like, and you put that in her head and watch when it crumble. She going to be messed up. And it's going to be your fault because why would you do that to that child? Why? Is Shante and True. I remember them. They were on Love during Lockup, the one that just went off. Shante, I think, is like 35. She's a restaurant manager. True is 31, and he's been in prison for 13 years for robbery. So he got locked up at 18. And I don't know why Shante think that man about to be faithful or do anything but run her pockets and run the streets. Girl, why? Why? But he proposed to her, so they're engaged. Now, what I do remember about Shante is her crooked brother stealing money from her and True threatening the brother on the phone to give the money back. I also remember that True's hairline starts all the way back here and he got locks, and I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me. I remember meeting the sister and the mom, where we found out, and I like the sister, I like True's sister because she's realistic, because we have this scene of them going to pick up True. He's the only one out in this episode we see get free. And she was like, I'm hoping my brother has growth, that his behavior is going to change. I'm just hoping more for growth. Like, she is very realistic about who her brother is. And she tried to be cool with Shante and tell her what was good, because we see that I think her 2 kids are with them. And the boy was like, I'm nervous. Is he coming to parole? Like, is he coming home to us? And they flash back to the scene where we found out that True was lying to everybody. True had told Shante that he was coming to stay with her, but also told his mom and his sister that he was paroling to their old hometown with them. And they called him on the phone, and he basically got caught up in a lie and had to tell them the truth that he was staying with Shante. So the little boy asking that was kind of shady, but it was funny because she was like, calm down, calm down. So then we see True get out. Shante and him run up to each other. They hug on each other. They kiss on each other. He's like, do I smell like jail? She was like, yeah, you do smell like jail. He happy to be out. He lets us know that, like, he just enjoyed robbing people. Like, he liked the thrill of robbery. He liked the thrill of, like, not getting caught, but also you could get caught. It's just something that he just enjoyed doing. And then he finally got caught up because I think they said it was robbery in the first degree. He got resisting and interfering with an arrest, armed robbery first degree, and burglary second degree. And, like, when I tell you he about to break Shante in half, because the way he was grabbing and rubbing up on her, and the way he kept saying, it's been so long since I touched a female, he gonna be on her heavy. But I don't really feel bad for Shante, just like I don't really feel bad for Leticia, other than, like, the kids. Same with Shante, because Shante has kids. Because Shantae's kids have more common sense than she do. Because I remember her daughter saying, my mom is always chasing somebody to love her. And that's what it is. I just wish she knew she was enough. And she is, because I'm just like, you're about to be his first black girl. Because the sister even said, like, you're not his type. He only dates white women. I never want to be a black man's first black girl. Never. And True gives very much, I'm dating these white women because they are white, and I don't like that. And that's not me saying that I have an issue with interracial dating, because I don't. But I feel like if you're specifically just going out there just to date somebody off of their race, you're just fetishizing them, and you don't see them as a person or them as themselves. Because, like, girl, Yeah, I just wouldn't. It's like, and I don't feel bad for Shantae in the sense of like, it's too many red flags that I feel like she is purposely ignoring just to be with True. And it's like True has not proven himself to you. Now I understand he was there for her during that time of when she was assaulted, unfortunately, by two coworkers. So I get that, but I feel like this is more of like a trauma bond than like an actual like we're a relationship. And based off of the trailer, it seemed like she gonna wake up one day and he gonna be gone and not responding to her. So I don't know. I don't know. So our last couple is going to be Hope and Arthur. So Hope is 27 and a truck driver. Arthur is 29 and he's been incarcerated for 4 years for theft and evading arrest. Girl, when I saw that tattoo of that triangle on Arthur's head, I said, "Ooh, girl." It's something about people who get face tattoos where I'm just like, you just don't care. And I mean, I have tattoos like on my arm and all of my stuff. But it's just like something about when people put face tats, it's the level of like I don't care that I can't relate to. Like I don't mind if people have them up to their neck, but your face is your face. And I'm just like, I don't know. So we meet him. So pretty much we see Hope. She backing that truck up, okay? I like lady truckers. I used to sometimes when you on TikTok, you end up liking a whole bunch of stuff. You end up being on that side of TikTok, and I was on Lady Trucker TikTok, and it was just interesting to watch and like how they educated people on how you like back up them trucks because she hit that reverse, and I suck at reversing, so I know I couldn't be no truck driver. I couldn't. So she's on the phone with Arthur. We find out again while he's in jail, and we find out that Arthur and Hope met while he was out. Like they had met when he was like I think he got locked up and they became friends or something like that. Someone sent like pictures of her to him and stuff like that. And then when he got out, they was cool, but then he got locked back up for the whole evading arrest and theft. So she knew him before he had all of that on his face. And I was like, do she know he have all of that on his face? But we find out that it's her day to go pick him up. So she getting her hair done, like she in the hotel room throwing up because she's so excited. And then she gets a phone call from one of the employees at the prison that's like, "Girl, what's your ETA? When you coming to get him?" And she was like, "Oh, I'm on my way. Is everything okay?" She's like, "Yeah, we just need to know when you coming to get him so we could drop him off." So then we meet Vonetta, who is Arthur's mom, and she gonna be a problem because she don't really like Hope. She feels like Hope is possibly using Arthur or is not a good influence on Arthur. I don't know how when your child is the one that's locked up for evading arrest and thievery. But she got an attitude problem. So she's sitting outside and waiting, and she's mad because she was like they won't let her like he won't be released until Hope gets there. So she drove away from Las Vegas because he's locked up in California, but I think Hope is living in Texas. And so she drove all the way from from Las Vegas to California. She said it was like a 3-hour drive, and she was like, "I'm ready to see my son. He's my firstborn," all of this stuff. And like Hope doesn't know that she's supposed to be there. So Vanyetta got an attitude because she's like, she was supposed to be here around 8 o'clock and it's almost 10 o'clock. Where is she? So Hope pull up. She get out the car like, "Oh, I didn't know you was going to be here." "Oh, okay. Okay." So Vanyetta was like, "Where you been, Hope? Like, you're 2 hours late." And Hope is like, he ain't going nowhere, and you could have went up there and got him if you wanted him. Like, and that's when Vanyetta's like, they wouldn't let him come to me. They're waiting for you. She was like, you not here. Do you even care? And she was like, "I do care. I had to get ready. I had to get cute." And the way she looked her up and down in her outfit, like, this is what you deem as cute. Okay. So they both going back and forth, and it's low key giving like emotional incest with the mom. Low key talking about, "That's my firstborn. He's coming home to me." That's like, I was like, well, girl. But then where she lost me is when she said that, like, "Yeah, I haven't been able to do a lot for him." But then Hope was like, "Girl, check yourself because I've been doing things for him." So I'm like, how can you say that she isn't really there, or like you don't trust her motives? But Hope has been doing more than what you've been doing while he's been locked up. It seems like you have an issue and you feel like she the other woman, because that's what it's given. Because the whole like he need to be home with his brothers and his sisters and all of this stuff, but have his brothers and his sisters come to see him. Have y'all been putting money on his books? Have y'all been calling and checking up on him? Have y'all been writing him? Because if you haven't been doing anything, why do you deem that he needs to come stay with y'all? It's given that. And I said, girl. And so I think the real issue is that we find out that Hope cheated on well, not even cheated, messed around or whatever on Arthur. When Arthur got locked up, Arthur told Hope, because he was locked up for 4 years, she could do what she wanted to do. But Hope was really doing what she wanted to do because she got needs, and that's understandable. You got locked up 4 years ago. That means she was 23 years old. She was living her best life. That's your fault. You got locked up. And so I guess he said she was posting like she was having sex. I don't know. He just didn't like it. So he told her to chill out, and he wasn't comfortable anymore about her like being out in them streets, even though he said it was okay. Well, when he got out one time before he got locked up again, she had 2 phones and she gave him the other phone. He found a video on there with her messing around with some dude, and that really hurt him. And so that caused some issues in their relationship, but I guess they worked it out. Either way, I don't fault Hope. You got locked up. I'm gonna live my best life. That's your fault. And clearly you didn't have that big of an issue with it because you got back with her. You got back. Because what it seems like is that the way the timeline of them getting together is that they were he was in jail when they met. He got out. They were together for a little while. Then he got then he got locked up again. And then that's when the whole like you can do whatever you want. And then she did whatever she wanted and he wasn't comfortable with it. But it will be interesting how he acts outside of prison, because the trailer of him howling in the wind, I was like, it's giving he about to act up. Again, run your pockets and be in that street. Yeah, y'all, that is it. That is all. Remember to be bravely authentic, and definitely hop down in them comments below and share your thoughts with me. If you liked the video, give me a thumbs up. And if you don't, you could thumbs it down, but it's still gonna help me in the algorithm. But I'm out, y'all. Deuces.